Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day. Bit of a weird news day, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. The price of Bitcoin is up by 5% in the past 24 hours and is currently around 9,600 US dollars, give or take, depending on where you look, after reaching a high of 9,664 US dollars. The overnight increase in Bitcoin coincides with an unexpected decision from the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. On the 22nd of July, the OCC said banks in the United States are allowed to hold cryptocurrencies. It essentially gave the green light to bank-operated crypto custodial services. Within a day of the announcement, the cryptocurrency market surged. In tandem with Bitcoin, Ether also saw a substantial rally as the price rose by 12%. That's the actual jump right here. It is nowhere near as high as I expected or as high as it actually should have gone. However, the cryptocurrency market was quite abuzz with the information that Bitcoin had actually started surging in price, and the wider cryptocurrency market had also done the exact same. As Bitcoin started rising, give or take a good 2 or 3%, a number of altcoins completely exploded around the exact same time. There were many coins up around 25%. These are coins relatively not that popular. However, the altcoin market moved up heavily, as many people had assumed, says it right here, that we were aiming for the $10,000 level. It kind of has 2 points, because it's more of a, I felt for a while, you should probably all know this, that Bitcoin should be well above $10,000. It may also be that the last couple of times that we have aimed for $10,000 and or gone past $10,000, it happened within like a 6-hour period. So maybe this time things are going to go slower. Things are going to try and edge their way up to 10,000 US dollars and then simply pop over it and then slowly continue moving higher. Who knows exactly what's going to happen? But the news is the market is moving. There are many factors as to why this could have happened, which we are also going to go over, because there's just, it's never a dull day in the world anymore. Also, in this news as well, the Ethereum 2.0 testnet Mandala is scheduled to go live on the 4th of August at 1 p.m. UTC, according to coordinator Danny Ryan. We spoke a bit about this yesterday, but there's a lot more that's kind of happened since then. The launch date is currently tentative. 2 conditions must be met before the testnet can launch. The first condition is to have a minimum of 16,384 validators on board, with each validator staking 32 ETH. This condition is set to simulate the Ethereum 2.0 mainnet as closely as possible. The second condition is the min genesis time, which defines the earliest time at which network can launch after the first condition is met. The current min genesis time for Ethereum 2.0's testnet is the 4th of August. If the first condition isn't achieved by the 2nd of August, the launch of the testnet will be postponed until the first condition is met. So this is actually, for those of you who aren't looking at prices yesterday or maybe just simply missed the entire day, it does happen sometimes. Ethereum shot up very quick, and it was off of the news that the actual testnet is going to be launched within, 11, 12, something like that days. Almost immediately after we got the news that the testnet was going to launch, a lot of people, myself included, were like, well, that's totally fine because we're not going to get Ethereum 2.0 until the next 4 years anyway. One of the top developers actually came forward and was like, no, hold on, we're actually still going to get it in 2020, and that's when prices started to surge. Because as we've heard before from Vitalik Buterin, we were going to get Ethereum 2.0 in quarter 3 or quarter 4 of this year. I don't remember the exact same timeline anymore. It doesn't really matter. And then we started getting news from other developers. Nope, it's actually going to take a bit longer, and we're not going to get it until the 3rd of January. That's when I made that video before, and I was like, well, why don't we just say next May? Why don't we just say next December? Because it's clearly not going to happen anytime soon. And I think here's where I think it really happened. there's a lot of money that's been put into Ethereum. There are a lot of heavy, rich investors who've supported Ethereum and their endeavors over the last couple of years. For those of you who don't know, really interesting history lesson right here. Ethereum came about in around 2015, somewhere around that time. They had an ICO, they raised money, etc., and then the coin was released into the world. I think Ethereum was around 20, 30, 40, 50 cents around this time when other people told me not to buy Ethereum because it was clearly a scam and it was clearly a so-and-so. I didn't listen to them, thank the actual goodness. What happened is that at some point, the Ethereum developers started to release information that they needed. Here's where it gets interesting. The price actually had to go up because the foundation itself was actually running out of money. And this is an assumption. I'm going to assume this is all one big assumption. This is probably around the same exact time that Mike Novogratz and a couple of other people also kind of got into the space, because a lot of them brag that they got into Ethereum when it was less than $1 or at $1. If you usually hear interviews with them, people ask, when did you get into Bitcoin? Well, I got into Bitcoin around the $200, $300, $400 range. And they go, when did you get into Ether? I got it for around $1. A lot of them are very well known for saying that they went to the Brooklyn office of the Ethereum developers when it was just a little 5-man operation, people sitting in a room. And I think it was Novogratz who walked into the room and was like, how do I invest in this? I can give you guys about $20 million to kind of get this thing going. And I think that that's where, so the point is, when the price was kind of stagnating and the people from Ethereum had announced that they wouldn't be able to continue the operations anymore, the price booped up. And I think it went to around $3, $4, $5, $6, where it relatively remained until the beginning of 2017, where things started to really, prices started going insane. So backtracking, I think there's a lot of early investors who got into Ethereum who were told in 2016 that things would have been up and running. Around the same exact time, when you keep telling developers or keep telling other people or keep telling investors, it's going to happen in quarter 1, quarter 3, quarter 4, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 4, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4 over the last couple of years. And people who have invested in this, all speculation, but it seems logical from all the news that I've gotten over the last 4 to 5 years that people who are heavy investors, and or it could even be other governments. We know that Ethereum is working with governments. They probably were like, we chose your platform because we expected you to upgrade. We need you to upgrade so that we can start putting things on top of your platform. If you don't upgrade, we're going to simply move to another platform. And that's where I think that spark kind of happened, because it's kind of weird that we kept on getting news, delay. Oh, a little bit longer, give us a little bit longer, give us to the end of the year, give us until next year. Other coins already developing rather quickly, especially when it comes to Cardano, who is, a couple days away from actually having their hard fork. So this could be the reason why, bringing it all home, why a couple of developers have actually come forward saying, no, Ethereum 2.0 is definitely going to launch this year. Vitalik Buterin saying the exact same thing. I assume it has to do with money pressure behind the scenes. A lot of other cryptocurrency projects, similar to Obise Go as well, have stated we'll upgrade whenever we decide to upgrade. They kind of have a more leisurely time frame, but I assume the billions that are actually floating or circulating around Ethereum probably caused them to push everything up to where it possibly should have been. So as it stands right now, we have information that Ethereum 2.0 is still going to happen this year. I will wait to see if it happens. I have no choice as time continues moving forward. But Ethereum was the top performing top 10 coin yesterday, based off of the news that not only is the testnet nearing, which means that when the testnet is done and has been tested, that the mainnet is going to launch. Hopes are still very low. I've lost a lot of my momentum for Ethereum, but we'll see how it goes. And to the two people for some reason who had an aneurysm yesterday when I was talking negatively about Ethereum, if my channel does not sit well with you, there are many other channels that will give you the hype that you need. I give you the news as it stands, and I give you my opinion, especially if a lot of the stuff floating around is, and I will say this in this way, is BS. Because I absorb the news for hours every single day. I go over everything, and then I give you the news that's kind of, the word is impertinent, but the more interesting news stories of the day. And if I've been hearing for years that something is going to happen and then it does not happen over the course of 3 years, and you get upset with me or with the news because the news isn't what you want to hear, I can't help you. I implore you to find a hype channel, and you might be a lot more happy with that. Also, as well, I'm going to assume that prices rose also based off of the news yesterday that Visa is also now going to work towards supporting Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Once again, a little weird that we did not immediately rocket over 10,000. I am just going to try to hold my everything in place and hope that Logic really understands what's going on. I got so many messages from friends who are actually within the cryptocurrency space who went completely ballistic. Not only did they hear about the news of Visa, I told them that MasterCard said the exact same thing about a week ago, and they were, what? That's completely insane. And then I told them about the news about the banks, and they all checked the price, and they were like, the prices are going up, but I expected them to go a lot higher. Me too, friend. Me too. That's all that news. Also, on top of the money, finance, world, crazy happenings within the last 24-hour news, I typed in the word stimulus, and I actually ended up finding this article. For those of you who are not looking at the screen, it says, invest your second stimulus check into Bitcoin. It's from Forbes. I saw this and I was like, okay, I'll click. So the news that we got yesterday, as it stands right now, it appears there's no real 1000% confirmation, and apparently we will wait to hear this news by Monday, that apparently within the US, they're going to launch a second round of stimulus checks, which apparently are going to be $1,200 per person, an additional $500 per dependent. And it apparently is for people earning $75,000 or less. And I think if you earn more than $75,000 per year, I think $150, I think that was the number I read yesterday, like gets chopped off of this amount until you eventually get something in the mail. The news also pertaining to this as well is that I think the US is going to have to print another $3 trillion US dollars to be able to do this. So that's going to be quite fascinating to see if Bitcoin reacts, because the news that we had before was that when the first round of stimulus checks went out, that Bitcoin actually went up in price, because maybe the reality of the situation is that the US government printed $6 trillion and this is going to be another $3 trillion. I also saw an article online somewhere, is the weirdest thing in the entire world, discussing or trying to explain that the US printing $7 trillion US dollars before this second stimulus check has even been birthed would not cause inflation of the US dollar. And I had to close it because my mind was just, I don't think my mind was ready for that information, because the news that we've gotten before, if I'm not mistaken, is that over the course of the last 3 to 4 years, I think the US has printed in total around a good $3 trillion over the course of it. So around a trillion per year. However, since March, April, May, June, around 4 months, the US printed $6 trillion, which is twice as much as the other 3 years. And they're going to print another $3 trillion over the course of a month, which is even more than the other 3-4 years combined. So that logic completely went out the window when I saw it, and I was like, I'm going to try and give it a chance. And it just, the logic just simply wasn't there. The point is, yes, for those of you who don't get the title of it, I mean, you probably should if you speak and or understand English, was that the last time there were stimulus checks that were sent out to people within the US, what was it? Yeah, Coinbase the exact same day saw a major uptick in people buying Bitcoin for, can you guess how much? It was exactly $1,200, and there were thousands of purchase orders at this exact same number. So that's why when I saw this article titled, Invest Your Second Stimulus Check into Bitcoin, I think she even goes into the exact reasoning for it, and the decline of the US dollar, and the drop in US GDP and all this. I mean, it's just really, it's quite fascinating, all the things that are going. And I've been listening to, if you care to know, I've been going on very long walks, just trying to become even more active and stuff like that. And I've been listening to podcasts, and some of the people they have on these podcasts, I think they're running short when it comes to guests. For some reason, a lot of people are really like believing more in fiat during all of this, and they think that the printing of trillions of dollars in euros and yens around the world isn't bad for the economy. And when you discuss the actual future purchasing power of people, I'm sure you've noticed this as well. I've seen the news articles and I've heard it from friends who are actually within the States, that the cost of food is rising rapidly across America. And that has to do with the actual printing of all this extra money. And it has to also, okay, we're not going to get into the entire thing, but the point of it is, these checks apparently are going to be voted on, confirmed by Monday. And then we will probably see another round of people putting their stimulus money into cryptocurrency. Very fascinating time to be around. There are also like rumors and speculations as to, I mean, there's just all this tons of stuff. And to finish this also thought off, this article is from the 12th of June, but still remains incredibly relevant. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says UK economy shrinks by record 20% in April. Not in 2020, just in April. I was listening to something, and I even made sure to like dig a bit further after this as well. I think since February or March, I think the UK's GDP has fallen by 42% or something like that over the course of that. It is absolutely phenomenal that the world's economy is completely collapsing before our very eyes. We keep getting tons of news. It's not like one news story. There's tons of news that banks, governments, institutions, payment giants are getting into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And that's why when I woke up this morning and I saw the price had risen by about 5 or 6%, I was like, I don't think people get it. So as it stands right now, I'm not trying not to get my hopes up. There's just a lot of little things that are happening within the cryptocurrency space, and I am simply going to wait and see what ends up happening with all of these things. Bitcoin is still Bitcoin. The hyper adoption is happening. I'm not sure if all the mega movements are happening over the counter, and therefore we can't see them actually logged into cryptocurrency exchanges. We know that all the banks within the US can now hold your Bitcoin, which may not seem significant to you, but we've had the discussion before about actual custody. There are going to be millions, if not billions, of people on the planet who are not going to want to hold their own crypto. But the fact that they're able to do this in many different banks around the world is also quite significant. Ethereum 2.0 is apparently, so saith the developers, still happening this year. We are 5 days away from Cardano's hard fork. Tron 4.0 is also happening sometime soon, and there was another coin that's also supposed to be having some type of an upgrade. So yeah, all that's happening from now until the end of this year, and I'm expecting good things, but alas, when you actually look deeper for the news as to how many economies are doing around the world, they're all just doing terribly. And I don't mean like half terribly. I mean like they're doing abysmal. Absolutely horrid. Stock market keeps going up. I think we had news this morning. I don't have it in here because it's, what have you. I think some of the tech stocks have started falling between 1 to 5%. But even if you zoom out to look at the 5 year range for their prices, these things are still at all-time highs, which they've all started reaching since March. So at some point, logic has to win, right? That's just how logic works. Anyway, that's all the Bitcoin, Ethereum, Visa, UK stimulus check, cryptocurrency market rally news. And without further ado, let's move on. Next up in Y news, the South Korean police have launched an investigation into the source of leaked information about the government's new crypto tax legal amendments. Social media users and private blogs had revealed details of the changes before it was made official this week. According to Kyunghyang Shinmun, the first article featuring leaked information was published in a state-themed site, which rapidly spread across the crypto communities and was picked up by other media outlets. The Metropolitan Investigation Team of the Sejong District Police is leading the search into who leaked the full details of Seoul's plans. It's not the first time that local authorities have had to deal with the leaking of cryptocurrency-related legal changes. This was also very popular news, but I'm going to say a very quick who cares. Why are they launching an investigation as to something that was already going to happen? First of all, has anyone here ever watched Black Mirror or just lived in the year 2020 or 2019 or 2018? People can get information very easily when it comes to a lot of these government situations, and I'm pretty sure we've had so many situations before where people who are actually in the government have either slipped on news articles or someone released it or tweeted about it and had to delete their tweet, but already had been screenshot by 40,000 people. Anyway, so they're launching an investigation into the news that they're going to charge 20% tax on crypto, which is confirmed. And now they're angry that people knew a week before. Because, I mean, there's nothing else they could be investigating. There's absolutely nothing else on this planet that's more important right now that they could be doing. But that's that news. This was I saw about 7 different websites talking about this, and I was like, okay. All right. Next up, the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, has endorsed blockchain as an opportunity in frontier technology, renewing hopes that the country is warming to cryptocurrencies. Probably not. In a keynote address at the Indian Idea Summit hosted by the US-India Business Council on Wednesday, India's Prime Minister Modi pitched the country as a haven for multinational investors. Part of the speech included an endorsement for blockchain as an investment opportunity among those frontier technologies. He said opportunities in technology also include opportunities in the frontier technologies of 5G, big data analytics, quantum computing, blockchain, and IoT, or Internet of Things. Modi added that 500 million people in India have already been connected to the internet. Okay. And another 500 million are awaiting connection. This presents a major opportunity for companies to expand into a large market, he said. I don't assume, so this is, I think they're taking a play from what China did just a couple of months ago. China came forward very vocally and said that they are completely for blockchain. They think people should get into blockchain, and blockchain's an amazing, wonderful thing. And then the price of Bitcoin popped up because everyone was like, oh, he's endorsing Bitcoin, which he kind of ish, not really was. I think they're doing the exact same thing. There's been a lot of initiatives to try and get India to be more warm to cryptocurrencies, but I don't think that's going to happen. There are a number of countries on the planet, highlighting it right there, who are just incredibly anti-crypto because cryptocurrencies in their purest form mean decentralization and, if you will, that it brings power back to the people. And that is something that many governments simply do not want, because as a government, you want to maintain all the power centrally as opposed to giving out fragments of it to everyone in your country, which is just how things should probably be, because, you know, the people make up the country, not the 15 people who make all the rules. So what's probably going to end up happening is a lot of cryptocurrency companies and institutions and exchanges are probably going to continue to try to launch within India. They're going to probably come down very hard on these companies and probably tell them anything you do must be shared with the government in excess. We need to know where these people live, what they do, share all of their government information for anyone who's trading the cryptocurrencies on your platform. And they would probably also make it so that it is probably illegal, you'll see why in a second, illegal to actually use these as legal tender, but you can hold them as an asset. And this will probably, and I can foresee all of this coming. The entire blockchain thing comes into, it's kind of Black Mirror-ish. If you haven't seen that show, watch it. It comes down to the fact that with blockchain, you can maintain and have a lot more control over things than you did before. If there are a lot of countries who are already obsessed with control and controlling their people and telling them exactly what they have to do and where they have to go, with blockchain, it makes it even more simple because you have a detailed record of every single thing that they've done, every single thing that they've looked at, bought, purchased. Anything is all compiled into one little thing for that person. It's kind of the same exact reason that we see, where's the word? This other country right here, wholeheartedly absorbing blockchain. If you find documentaries or find videos as to why they are adopting blockchain so heavily, it has all to do with control. They want to control every aspect of everything that happens online, even when it comes down to keystrokes. They want to know what you did, when you did it, how you did it, because everything will be recorded on different blockchains. So this is what I assume this country is also going to do. It's a bit of a shame because these are the countries where I think cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin would absolutely flourish the most. If I am completely wrong, then so be it. But the last 3 to 4 years have kind of shown all of us that this is probably the direction that things are going into. It's about control. It's about making sure that everything is under the purview of the government. However, as we know, decentralized networks are decentralized. This won't actually stop people from being able to do what they want with Bitcoin, which is also going to be another fight that we have to deal with down the road. Tying also into this as well, this has now been confirmed, as it were. The Russian government passed a bill that gives legal status to cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, but the new law bans them from being used for paying for goods and services. The Russian lawmakers approved the Digital Financial Assets, or DFA, bill on the 22nd of July after its third and final reading. The new law gives legal status to crypto in the country, but it prohibits their use for paying for goods and services. So you are incapable of using it as legal tender, because in essence, people would start using decentralized currencies and other cryptocurrencies as a way of payment, as opposed to using their government. It's already happening around the world, especially with stablecoins. People are using stablecoins as opposed to using their actual government currency. But then what happens is the government currency isn't being used, and then the GDP, and then the yada, yada, yada. The bill has already won backing from senior lawmakers like Anatoly Aksakov, who heads Parliament's Financial Meetings Committee. According to the news agency TASS, the Digital Finance Asset Bill recognizes crypto as an aggregate of electronic data capable of being accepted as a means of payment. So it's probably going to be, well, rather, what was the news that we got about 2 days ago? It was that they were like working on it or something like that. But it was that you won't be jailed if you're using cryptocurrency. And I assume that it has to do with the actual trading of it back and forth. And now it's been confirmed that I guess the digital law is, and has been confirmed, that you also can't use it as, or something, you can't use it to pay for goods and services, but it is legal within the country. So yeah, I think we only have a couple more countries left. It is now, I think it's just India and the US who still have not given cryptocurrency laws. The entire EU kind of has like a blanket KYC AML thing kind of going on. Different countries have their own tax things. China has said it's legal. I assume they also have their own tax structure as well for it. Many Southeast Asian countries have done the exact same thing. Different countries within Africa, we haven't really heard from them, nor really South America, but focusing on the countries that we normally typically hear about within the news. Japan has it. South Korea also has it. I think it's just India and the United States as the last two countries on the planet who don't have cryptocurrency laws yet. So yeah, we'll see if we get those this year. Not optimistic about it, but sure. And to finish things off, the Cardano Foundation has announced a new partnership with Switzerland-based fintech firm and blockchain exchange Likecore. That is Lykke. I assume it's like and not licky. The partnership will feature several initiatives that will use the foundation's advanced blockchain technology to enhance Likecore's financial services, allowing it to offer superior fintech services and strengthen its market position. The announcement stated that Likecore is awaiting approval from the Swiss Financial Market Supervisory Authority to increase its scope of operations and financial products. Once granted the authorization, the Cardano Foundation will provide unique market access to Like to push its products on the Cardano blockchain. Wonderful. Cool. There's always news kind of like this. It never really makes the news. A lot of it usually isn't very popular. There's always little partnerships with Cardano and Chainlink and other things like that. But I mean, you can tell me if you want to start hearing these news stories. A lot of times it's like they're going to be tracking potatoes, or there's somebody who's making a makeup line and that's going to be on VeChain for a week when the product is there. So a lot of times people, I see the comments and people tell me in the comment section, why aren't you talking about this new partnership with so-and-so? why aren't you discussing so and so that happened with this coin that no one else has heard of? And then I find the news and it's like, yeah, we're going to use it so that we can track where our corn is going in August. And I'm like, if you want to hear that news, or if that kind of news gets you pumped up and, you know, want to buy more of the coins, just tell me and I'll start focusing more on that news. As it stands right now, a lot of these coins have a lot of new partnerships. Partnerships are sprinkled throughout the wider cryptocurrency space as everyone's trying to find the coins that they believe are going to do exceedingly well in the future. And everyone's just kind of hedging their bets, if you will. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Professor Wally from Gunbite University, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Oscar Maldonado, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Steuer, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Moher Maroni, Master Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Crypto, Joe Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Damian Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller, his chest every day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day, Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Arfmedic 17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigera Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL and Bolero, Bastos, thank you all very, very much for your support. At the moment, here's the actual move up that we had that saw us rise by around $400 to $500 For some reason, Bitcoin has fallen back down in price to exactly just a smidge where we were before all the news came out. So I'm going to assume that people took that news as hype and not actual reality. Once again, Visa and MasterCard are going to provide support for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. All banks within the United States can now also hold crypto. So the only thing that's kind of up is still Ethereum. I assume off of the news that Ethereum 2.0 is definitely, according to two developers, going to be happening this year, so saith them. XRP is also up. XRP was actually the first coin that went up when all of this news took place. I'm not sure if it was the news that banks would be able to hold crypto and therefore the speculation that banks would also be holding XRP, or maybe this is why the news story came out. I'm not exactly sure what, but Bitcoin's drop caused every other coin also to drop, which is just an actual shame because none of this really makes a lot of sense. So the coins are looking very Christmassy. It's a lot of red and green all over the place, a lot of reds as well, because I think the market has no idea where to actually go at this point. I'm going to, nope, not even going to do it. So tomorrow is the actual ending. No, it's the ending. It's the ending of the moratorium for evictions and mortgage payments across the U.S. That is, people who have had their rent frozen since February are going to be required to now pay back all this money that they don't have because they haven't been in work. Same exact thing with people who have to pay their mortgages who haven't been able to actually receive the rent payments because the people who are renting the places have also been out of work. Still around, I believe 37 million people are estimated to still be who were legally able to actually get benefits still out of work. And I think the other people have either gone back or they have been furloughed or they have part-time work. So I was speaking with a friend of mine, as I've said many times, and we were discussing the potential outlook of the cryptocurrency market when millions of people are told starting tomorrow that they have to leave their homes, and also that their mortgage payments are due. And when people start opening up letters that say, hey, you owe us $14,000, what the economic outlook for that was going to be. It is a time unlike any other. That's the way that I'm going to say it. The UK government is not the only one that has shrunk during this time period. Every single world government is doing incredibly bad, and their monetary policies of simply printing more money to throw at institutions is also not really helping. Someone did people were doing calculations on if the US had printed trillions of dollars and had sprinkled that money, not even completely, not even the entirety of it, but just across the people within the US until around, a couple of months, how much better off the economy would have been. But nope, a lot of that money a major portion of that money continues to go to banks, airlines, institutions, even a lot of, for those of you who don't know, a lot of tech companies that are performing exceedingly well were also eligible to be able to ask for these, for money from the stimulus, and they ended up getting it. Part of the controversy is that people figured out who these companies were who actually applied for it. There were a couple of, There were a couple of basketball teams, for those of you who don't know this as well, who actually applied for stimulus money, and they got it. It was around like $25 million or something like that. And people found out that just from the sales, the continued sales of their actual jerseys and sneakers and all this other stuff, they were making about 7 times that over the exact same period, which means they had no right to even ask for the stimulus money. And when people found out and called them out on it, they were like, "Oh, it was a mistake. We didn't mean to file the 20 pieces of paper of paperwork that we did. So we're not gonna donate this money." Terrible, 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 terrible. Shame, shame, shame. Anyway, that is definitely gonna do it for this video. I assume we're gonna have a very rocky weekend. An incredibly rocky weekend. Cryptocurrencies market is open 24 hours a day. The stock market is not. Reality has to hit at some point. And I told my friend, I assume the reality will hit the news when 20 million people have been evicted from their homes. But only 2020 will tell. I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.